What is PSE? So planed square edge timber. We're also going to take a look at rough sawn timber and how we go about getting our rough sawn timber to PSE and my methods at doing that. So what is PSE then? We've already said it stands for planed square edge timber. And what that means is the timber that you get from your mill or from your timber yard has come planed, which is nice and smooth, and square on all four sides. And it's a type of timber that is used in second fix joinery for window frames, door frames, staircases, any joinery timber like moulding for skating boards, dado rails and things like that. So it's ready for the site joiner to use. Here we have some pine then, which is the commonly used timber for PSE because it's readily available and easiest to source and the lowest cost. Here we have some rough sawn timber, which is hardwood. This is American white oak. And generally when we buy hardwoods, they come rough sawn. It's not always the case, but mostly. So we have to take this into account and we have to mill this up ourselves. As you can see, the rough sawn is very rough and you could easily get splinters on there. None of the edges are parallel or square. I can see daylight through my square on all four sides. I'll now show you my milling process, how I get this rough sawn oak into the same state of this nice PSE. Like with everything in joinery and carpentry, there's 1,000 different ways to skin a cat. And it's the same with milling the timber up. We can do this with hand tools. You know, this takes quite a bit of experience and again, a number of different tools. The way I like to do it is with power tools. It's faster and more efficient for me to do it that way. What I'm using here for my first part of the process is a benchtop planer. This is very much a hobbyist benchtop planer. You can get a lot larger machines than this. As you can see, I've had to make my own auxiliary fence on this to get a nice 90-degree fence to my table at the top of the benchtop planer because the fence that came with this was aluminium and it didn't get your timber square, which defeats the purpose. So the first thing we need to do then is get one flat side on this piece of timber. On that flat side, we can get one square edge. Right then, we've got one nice flat clean surface and you can see the difference massively already. But we need now a 90-degree angle from this side of the timber to this edge. So one square side. We'll still be then left with two unsquare sides, but we'll show you how we get them parallel next. So what we're going to do is we're going to hold this side here, which we've just got flat, firmly against the fence here and run this edge along the blade. As you saw in the last clip, I didn't have anything running along the fence, I was just making it flat. Now we're getting this flat surface along the fence and this side square to this side. Just before we do that, as you can see, this is not square at all. Now we've got one 90-degree corner, which is great. We need to mark the face side with an F and the face edge. Now we know that these two corners are 90 degrees to each other. Now what we need to do is we need to make this side parallel to this side here. We can't do that using the planer. I won't go into any detail why you can't do that today, but you'll be chasing your tail all day if you try and square that up to that side now. So what we do is we take it over to the table saw and we're going to reference this side off the fence with this side on the table saw bed and we're going to square this edge up now. So we'll have two parallel sides. First thing we need to do then, before we get the parallel edges, is make sure the blade is square to the table saw bed. So I'm just going to use a square for this and I can see no daylight through the blade and the square, and we've got a nice square edge. So I know I'm going to get a nice square cut. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to put the face side down and we're going to put the face edge against the fence. And as you can see, or you might not be able to, that this side is not square. But because we've got the face down and the face edge against the fence, when we run this through here, we're then going to get two parallel sides, and then we'll just be left with one side to get ready. Now this side should be square to the face edge, which it is, perfectly so, which is great. Now we've just got one side left, which is rough sawn, and we need to get this side parallel to the face side. The way we're going to do that is we're now going to run it through the thicknesser. The great thing about the thicknesser is, as well, it gets the timber to the required thickness that we need. However, if you was to buy this from the mill, and you had your timber already PSE, you can buy it in dimensional timber. So if you want 26mm timber, you want 18mm timber, you go there and you can buy it at the required size. But the best thing about doing it this way is you obviously get it to the exact thickness you want, but it's the machines, it's the work, it's the mess and required to do that. So we're just going to take this down just so it's parallel, no more. I don't want to waste any of the thickness of this oak. This is the thicknesser, and this is what's going to get our timber to the required thickness. Now, generally when you're using a thicknesser like this, you don't want your piece to be really any less than a foot, 300mm in length. There is a chance of kickback when using small pieces of timber. I'm comfortable in putting this size piece of timber through this with some light passes. Also, with a small piece like this, we may get some snipe on either end, and that's just where a little bit of extra timber is removed at the ends where the rollers are pushing the timber down, and then it lifts up slightly. There you go then, guys, one perfectly planed square edge piece of timber with four sides that are nice and parallel to each other. Obviously it's quite a process going through that to get your timber PSE, doing it yourself, and you can imagine if you was building quite a big project and you had a lot of timber to mill up, that would be quite some work. You know, it's time consuming, that you need quite a lot of expensive equipment. Even if you've only got hobby size equipment like I have, still quite pricey, and if you do it by hand, again, a lot of man hours. I buy my timber from Burnett, which are based in Hull, and they sell to all of Humberside, North Lincolnshire and East Yorkshire. They sell pine PSE, and they also sell lovely hardwoods in PSE now, which is a new thing they've started doing. This is some American black walnut that I've got from them, and it's absolutely beautiful. Hopefully you've enjoyed today's video, learnt something new, and you've seen my milling process, how I go about getting my rough sawn timber to PSE, or where I purchase it from if I need a lot and I don't have the time to do it myself. Right then, guys, I'll catch you on the next video. Any questions, just ask me in the comments. If you'd like to support the channel, you can do that through PayPal, Patreon and channel membership. And as always, thank you, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.